Hi, and welcome back to Diatonic Dissection, where we crack open music to see what makes it tick. In this video, we'll be looking at the music for Ending from Pokemon Red/Blue. As the name suggests, this is the music that plays after you have defeated the Elite Four and your rival, Assface in my case, by strategically countering all of their picks. Big shout out to my Kadabra for pretty much melting the faces of all of Agatha's ghost Pokemon with psychic abilities. As always, do the algorithm stuff, and if you want the sheet music for this, head on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/diatonicdissection. Now, let's get into it. This track is a lot longer than the previous ones we've looked at in the Pokemon soundtrack, so we will have several different sections rather than the usual 1 to 3. The tempo is 150 BPM and the key is A major. As always, we'll start with the chords, then go through the individual parts. Section A is based around the intro for Pokemon Gym. You can tell with the arpeggio sounds. The rhythm that is used is also the same rhythm from the Road to Cerulean City. There are some fast moving chords in Section A to match up with the arpeggios, and they are a mixture of regular triads and power chords. Both melody lines move in fifths before moving on to the Road to Cerulean City rhythm. There are staccato notes in addition to a string skip if you're on guitar, so keep it clean. Not much to say about Melody 1 as it's very similar to Melody 2 rhythmically. Even the bass gets to play arpeggios in Section A. These ones include an A+4, B minor and D major. I can't find any references to other tracks in Section B, but if I have missed any of them, let me know down below in the comments. There are only 2 chords for Section B, A over E and G over D, so it's pretty straightforward. Apart from Melody 2 is quite simple and features one arpeggio followed by an inversion. As we are dealing with arpeggios, there are some string skips, so hybrid pick them if you're feeling fancy on guitar. Melody 1 is a bit more involved than the main melody and features a couple of string skips, so keep an eye out if you're on guitar, or a very large stretch if you're on piano. For the bass, you've had your fun and now it's time to return to your regular role in the Pokemon soundtrack, jumping fourths. You'll be doing this kind of thing pretty much for the remaining minute and a half of the piece, so make sure your hands are nice and warmed up. Section C, there are G and A chords as well as an A power chord and an A unison. Like section B, the main melody in section C has more examples of an arpeggio being followed by its inversion. Section C for Melody 2 is very similar to what it was doing in Section B. For the bass, there are more jumping intervals, but this time it's thirds rather than fourths, so that should help keep you bassists from falling asleep. Section D, the melody, is a reference to the opening with the descending semitones on the last eighth of the bar. There is pretty much only one chord for this section, and that chord is an inverted A. However, there is the odd G and inverted G in there. It is mostly just A, so pretend you're in a drone band. There isn't much to be said about the main melody in section D, as it's more arpeggios, with a particularly drawn out A over E over bars 22 to 24. Melody 1 actually has some rest bars which are broken up by harmonising with the semitone descents from opening part 2. The end of the section sees the part mix the A over C sharp arpeggio with the G sus4 arpeggio from Melody 2. You're back onto the jumping fourths for bass. Chords for section E sees an interesting use of natural notes. They start out with the chords that we've seen before, G over D and A over E, But after these chords, bar 36 onwards, we have a series of ascending chords starting on D. All of the chords are major, even though they should be minor if we are sticking to the key. We have the G sharp to make the E major, and then a natural F and C to make F major, and then we finish on a regular G major. There isn't much to be said about Melody 2 for section E, as it's a lot of held notes. Melody 1 has more going on in section E compared to Melody 2, but there still isn't much going on. For the bass you get jumping thirds, fourths and fifths with the odd little turnaround, so something to keep your attention up. For the final section, section F, the chords are just A over E and D minor. For Melody 2, we see a return of opening part 2 chromatic descents, in addition to more arpeggios. The final bar is staccato notes, so keep them clean. Again, there is more going on for Melody 1 in section F, but that's still not much compared to Melody 2. like the previous section, you'll be doing jumping thirds, fourths and fifths, as well as leading the rhythmic charge by doing the Road to Cerulean City rhythm leading into the final bar. That's it. This was by far the longest track from the Pokemon soundtrack, and although it is the ending music, it isn't the end of our exploration of it. I'm working through the soundtrack mostly in order. Some tracks I haven't done yet because they're taking a lot more practice to get up to a workable standard. As always, do the algorithm things, and if you want the sheet music, head on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/Diatonic Dissection. I hope that you've enjoyed this video and found it interesting/entertaining, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!